In 1919, a man named Charles Ponzi stood in a small, cramped Boston office, staring at a piece of paper that cost exactly 5 cents. To the rest of the world, it was just an international reply coupon, a mundane tool for global mail. To Charles, it was a glitch in the matrix of global finance. Within months, this penniless Italian immigrant was making $250,000 a day. He became the hero of the working class, a man who promised to turn $10 into $100 in just 90 days. He was the king of Boston, draped in fine silk and worshipped by the desperate. But as we're about to see on Dark Gilded Truth, Charles wasn't buying stamps. He was buying time, and the clock was ticking much louder than his investors realized. Welcome to Dark Gilded Truth. Here, we peel back the gold leaf from history's most opulent empires to reveal the ruthless greed and hidden shadows that built and broke them. We don't just recount history, we dissect the blueprints of the human soul to find the wisdom buried beneath the wealth. I'm your guide through the archives. Today, we're digging into the man who invented the world's most famous scam. If you find value in these archives today, I invite you to follow us later, but only if you're genuinely impressed with the truth we uncover. The 1920s were the ultimate Gilded Age. The Great War was over, the stock market was a playground for the elite, and every laborer in America was desperate for a shortcut to the dream. Charles Ponzi didn't just offer a shortcut, he offered a teleportation device. He claimed he was exploiting a massive currency discrepancy. Because of post-war inflation, you could buy a postage coupon in Italy for pennies and redeem it in America for a profit of 400%. It sounded smart. It sounded technical. It was the perfect, gilded lie. Ponzi opened the Securities exchange company, and word spread like wildfire through the Italian-American community of Boston. At first, it was just a few dozen people, but when those first investors actually received their 50% profit in 45 days, the city went mad. Thousands of people began lining up outside his office, clutching their life savings in sweaty palms. Policemen, widows, factory workers, they all wanted in. Charles became a celebrity. He bought a 20-room mansion, a custom-built limousine with gold accents, and he draped his wife Rose in diamonds that would blind a socialite. He was no longer a businessman, he was a financial messiah. But while the city cheered, the vault was actually empty. But every empire built on a shadow has a breaking point. On July 26, 1920, the Boston Post hired a financial expert to do what no one else had dared: the math. They realized that for Ponzi's business to be legitimate, there had to be 160 million international reply coupons in circulation worldwide to cover his obligations. They checked with the Postal Service. The total number of coupons in existence: only 27,000. The math didn't just not add up. It proved that the entire empire was a ghost. The Gilded Wall was about to explode, and the fall would be felt across the entire country. The autopsy of the Securities exchange company revealed a total vacuum. Charles hadn't bought a single stamp, not one. He was simply taking money from new investor B to pay back old investor A. It was a house of cards built on a foundation of pure psychological manipulation. When the Boston Post story hit, the gilded dream turned into a bloody nightmare. 40,000 people had invested nearly $20 million, roughly $300 million in today's money. When they stormed his office, the money was gone. Ponzi had siphoned it off to pay for his lavish parties, his bank buyouts, and his own ego. The collapse triggered a series of bank failures across New England. Charles Ponzi was arrested and charged with 86 counts of mail fraud. He spent years in federal prison, but even after his release, he couldn't stop. He tried to scam people with Florida land deals before being deported back to Italy. He eventually died in a charity hospital ward in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He was penniless, half-blind, and forgotten by everyone except the law books. He had stolen millions, but he left the world with nothing but his name, a name that would forever serve as a warning for the dark side of the American dream. We look at the people of 1920 and think they were naive. We think we are smarter, shielded by technology and regulations. But look at the world today. We see the same patterns in modern, to-the-moon crypto schemes, unregulated, passive income gurus, and the desperate need to look successful on social media before we actually are. The dark, gilded truth is that the biggest scammer isn't Charles Ponzi. It's our own greed. Ponzi didn't trick people. He gave them an excuse to trick themselves. Before you chase your next shortcut, ask yourself, are you building a real legacy? Or are you just chasing a ghost in a postage stamp? Like and subscribe and activate notifications to see what else history is hiding in the shadows. We'll see you in the next autopsy.